Little YouTubes. Hello, my little YouTubes. It is I. I thought I would actually film this from the computer today because I did 45 freaking minutes. 45 minutes, I say. What are you doing? Why aren't you running? You should be running, my friend. Plug you in. Have you gone and discharged? You've got nothing left. Here you go. How is everybody? Hello, hell jumper. Oh, I'm glad. Thank you. Which videos? These videos? These mad exercise videos? Is that what you're actually liking? Hello, Alexander. Hello, Kemraden. Hello, Steve Cherry. Stephen Mikey, in fact. 45 minutes. 45 minutes. Now, can you hear okay? Everyone hear okay? I'm on my damn hello from Russia again. And another person, hello from Russia. What's everyone from Russia today all of a sudden? Yeah, I'm freezing too. I'm in shorts. I'm in shorts and a t-shirt thanks to 45 minutes of yoga. And you can hear. Good. Very good. Perfectly. I've got a real microphone. I've got a real web camera today. I've got really weird looking hair. But that's better. Much better. All right. Hello from Billings, Montana. Wow. And from Canada, Hell Jumper. Very good. Well, that's a good place to be. You sound wonderful. Better than my homework videos. Well, that's good, Tammy. Denmark, UK, York. Very good. York in the UK. Very good. Did I get your email? I don't know, Cameron. Did I? I've looked at email recently, but I'm not sure I've got through everything. I'll have to have a look. No, Nebraska. What? No, Nebraska. What? Huh? What's with the eyes in the background? What's with them? Look at them. Aren't they great? I love these things. So these are Pi eyes. So basically they're Raspberry Pi. There's a Raspberry Pi attached to these two little TFT. Is it TFT monitors? Little tiny little monitors, and they're just mirroring a little series of images to make it look like the eyes are moving, but it's kind of fun. And yes, David Grants, you finally caught me live. So today I did 45 minutes of yoga with Jane. I thought, oh, that'd be nice. I'll do yoga with Jane on Valentine's Day. It'll be so romantic. And then she's like, oh, I've got this one here. It's a 45-minute yoga. By the end of the warm-up, they're like, okay, now you should be warmed up. I'm like, no, warmed up. I'm ready to freaking finish. I'm ready to die. Keel over and die. Opal Mist says, that's just how I look. Yep, that is just how I look, Tammy. It's true. This is my post-exercise mad scientist look that I generally go. I'd like to see eyes on smartphones. I suppose you could. add them. Yeah, I mean, I could probably put the little, if I did a small enough, if I got like a little Pi Zero, you could probably put the eyes on there as a case. It's not DDP yoga. I don't even know what that means. Christopher. What's on my mug today? What is on my mug today? Today it's it's just Starbucks, really. It's just boring. Is that really all it is? Yeah, it's just a Starbucks mug. I gotta get some more mugs. I think I need some more mugs, definitely. Can you say hey for my girl Carla on V-Day, please? Oh, I see, Rainman 85 NC. You failed to do something on Valentine's Day, so you think, oh, sure, that's fine. I'll just I'll get the David guy to say hello, Carla. You know, he really loves you, even though the only thing he can think of to do is to guilt me into do it while we're on a YouTube chat. No, happy Valentine's Day. Lots of love to you and her and everybody for that matter. You like my Minecraft poster? Yeah, it's wanted for blowing things up. I saw a movie last night. I saw White Tiger. I watched last night, which is a Netflix movie. Is all set in India. It is it's sort of extraordinary. I mean, it's an absolutely kind of amazing. It's a long film, but it's an amazing film. So you got to see that. So what do we got? What's Quiz Boy doing here? Seems to have worked out. Well, yes, I've worked out a little bit. How do you drink your coffee? Well, it's funny. Sometimes I just have it black. Sometimes when I want a treat, I put a little bit of little foamy milk in there. And today I went for a little foamy milk because you know what? It's Valentine's Day. And today is 3D Jeff's birthday. Happy birthday to 3D Jeff. Happy birthday to 3D Jeff. Happy birthday, 3D Jeff. Happy birthday. Oh, whatever. How old are you? Do I want to know? If you're younger than me, I don't care. How's that? All right. Pretty Kitties just powered through Stargate Universe. Very good. Yeah, Rodney was kind of fun. I had a lot of fun doing that one. I was there in 2016. I bought a Micah CD and a Jigglypuff cosplay there. Oh, interesting. I'm not sure what they're talking about. They're having a whole conversation under themselves. Is there something you'd like to share with the class? 54, Jeff. Okay, that's fine. So 3D Jeff, I'm willing to celebrate your birthday because you're marginally older than I am. So happy birthday, old man. I saw Earwig and the Witch yesterday. It was terrible. Oh, what's that? Well, go see White Tiger. Fantastic. The other one I'm going to recommend to you is a science fiction one called Prospect. And that is with the fabulous Pedro Pascal, who, as you may or may not know, is the man behind the Mandalorian mask. It's a really kind of a beautiful science fiction movie. So you should definitely see that. Yeah, I mean, I don't do creamer so much, Joe Stalwart. I like, if I'm going to go for something in my coffee, it's going to be cream, not creamer. I go for the full. I want the full on whipping cream. Or my granny used to do like that thick Devon cream in it, but that was weird because it was almost like having butter in your coffee because it was just like lumps of cream. Hey, old man, what's up, bro? I'm assuming, Jeff, that you're talking to 3D Jeff, who's just turned 54. I'm assuming that's who you're talking to because you can't possibly be talking to this young, fit lad here. So question, says Lloyd. When you watch a movie or show, do you find yourself dissecting it? Dissecting it, right. I've got this wrong. Apparently, my dad corrected me the other day and said it was dissecting. I've been saying dissecting, and that's a different thing, apparently. So dissecting. Yeah, I do. In fact, there are very few movies that I mean, it is rare praise indeed if I find myself just enjoying the movie and not pulling it apart. I do that all the time. I tend to sort of to dissect it and see what's done what. But as I say, like White Tiger, there are only a couple of shots where I went like, oh, that's a neat shot. The rest of the time, I was just kind of sucked into this story. And then Prospect, I was going all the time, going like, how'd they do that? What's this? Oh, wow. Like, it was just beautiful. It was just beautiful. And then I got sort of sucked into the whole storyline, and the characters are just beautiful. So that is a Prusa. That is a Prusa Mark III with the what's it called? The multi-filament, whatever. It's got some crazy long name, but it's basically the 5-filament selector on top there. Man, what a kit to build. That was one hell of a kit to build, let me tell you. I was wondering if you know of the robotics work done by James Britton. Yes, I have. I have seen James Britton stuff. If not, you and the TBs, Tech Bandits, may find this channel interesting. Yes, thank you, David Grants. I am aware of his stuff. Amazing stuff that he does. MMU, that's it. Thank you, Hyperion. MMU, Maker Viking, of course, leaping into the fray. Hello, Maker Viking. Sometimes I don't enjoy a film. I'll go back to the book. Did that with King Arthur the other day. Yeah, what's funny, Joe? I mean, like I was watching White Tiger last night, and I thought I loved the movie. I want to read the book because I think the book just sounds. I think the book could sort of expand on some of the stuff that they were dealing with in the movie. Although I got to say, I can't imagine them handling it much better. It was just absolutely beautifully done. Excuse me, not much sleep last night for some reason. It was like late to bed, early to rise makes a man miserable. And are you familiar with Hacksmith? Oh my God, yes, Hacksmith. Hacksmith's he's a local boy. He's just outside of Toronto, basically. Does some amazing stuff. And seems like a jolly good fella too. We had a chat once, way back when. I will be building our Voron VOs on my channel the coming week. Looking forward to that build. Oh, cool. What is that? I don't even know what that is. A Voron VD? No, VDVOs, Voron VOs. I'm assuming it's not a Voron venereal disease. I'm assuming it's a VO of some sort. Valentine. Oh, Valentine. No, Voron. I don't know what that. Valentine Day activities. Yes, Jeff Phillips. There. So I like to make Jane the cheesiest cards I possibly can. So I cut out a giant heart out of styrofoam and I wrote silly things on it. And then I made Valentine's Day paper out of I drew little hearts all over this massive paper, and I used that to wrap up the little. It's like one of these limited edition Lego kits, and it's a little flower and a little chocolate box, and so she had to build that. That was her project for the morning was to build her Valentine's Day Lego present. It was kind of cute, and I got the best present a man could ever get, which is 2 giant bars of Lindt chocolate. They're like this big. They're bigger than my face. Unfortunately, I can get through like half of them a night easy. My son and I just plow through this stuff. But anyways, yeah, so this beautiful Lindt chocolate stuff that I just freaking love. So obviously, I'm not fat enough for her. So she obviously wants me to put on weight. So I can only help her in that regard. So yeah, that's kind of the way I felt, Lucretia. Otherwise, you're staggering outside with masks on, and in a way, to me, buying, frivolous things, whether that be cards or whatever. And I just thought, I've got this whole freaking space down here. Why don't I make something with it? So it's just nice when I can to make that kind of stuff. I've really gotta get moving on my dad's thing because I got to figure out this. I don't think it should take too long. It's just, I think, struggling to figure out how exactly to build it is I want to do a little CNC box of some sort for my father for his 80th birthday to hold some stuff. What do we got? Made my girlfriend a nice pot roast. Oh, very nice. We're doing steak tonight for sure. What is it about meat and Valentine's Day? There's something sort of like sexy about about a nice steak and a potato, I suppose. But that's what we're doing. Dark chocolate covered cherries. Oh my God, that sounds good too. So the reality is Valentine's Day is just about making your partner look far worse than they did before through various amounts of chocolate and fat, heart attack inducing foods, right? That's interesting. So I hope when we can gather together again, all you brilliant robotics folks will seek opportunities to share your skills at your local public library. That's a good point, Joe. Good point. What's funny is I was going to the Toronto Reference Library quite a bit for a while there because they have a media center where they have like 3D printers and all this kind of stuff. So, but one of the issues that I found was that the kids weren't having it to book the amount of time you need to 3D print anything of any sort of substance. You have to book a lot of time, and they don't generally let you do that. So it's one of the reasons why I end up investing in my own 3D printer so that the kids could have sort of, uninterrupted print times if they need to. So I've now got a couple of printers I'd like to get an Octoprint sorted out on one or both of them. Well, I guess ideally both of them, so they can log in from afar. They let me know that they want to do it, and I'll just sort of keep an eye on it, and then they can start printing their stuff and let it run. So Jeff Phillips' girlfriend's 75, so she'll probably forget anyway. Here you go. Amazing how many folks on here instead of with significant other on Valentine's. Oh boy, to be married to a geek. Are there that many people on? I can't tell how many people are on right now. So, but yeah, people should really be with their. I've just done 45 freaking minutes of yoga with my wife. I feel like I've put in some time. I am. I think I can spend a little bit of time here with you now. Not too long, but a little bit of time. Anyways. Love from Austria. Thank you, Gerlind Rosensteiner. Thank you very much. How's it over there? What else we got? 64 people. Ooh, boy, 64 people who are basically risking their romantic lives right now to sit here and listen to me babble on. My wife and I just finished watching all of the Stargate chronologically. Really? Oh my God. Well, L. Strauss. Now, what people do now is just to go back and start all over again. Mel 3498 is single. And then happily single. Is that the key? Are we happy on our own? Always good to be sorted on your own first before you go meet someone. And only 24 likes. I know it's that, it's just that people don't feel very giving on these romantic Valentine's days, I guess. Can't risk a romantic life if you don't have one. Exactly, Bradley. Tales of Pearls is single. I'm single, snowed in, so I'm safe. Vernell. Sherry Lyons, worth it, David. My hubby is keeping the dog entertained. Well, there you go. That's very good. Good. Our dog, so we were out last night. Baz and I took the dog out last night, sort of a late night wander across the bridge, which is always kind of fabulous. It's a nice view of the city, and it's while a bit windy and cold, it's sort of a kind of a spectacular, especially with the snow coming down. It was quite beautiful. So the dog's got a stick, and it likes to play with the sticks that it finds. And what I normally do is she'll take the stick and I'll give it a little boot, give it a kick, and then it goes flying off and she grabs it. Well, yesterday I kicked it, and I guess she went to grab it at the same time, and it hit her somewhere in her mouth at such force that it really put her out there was a horrible whine from her, and she sort of rolled over and was whinging and stuff. And I was extremely concerned that I'd permanently damaged my poor dog. And then she bounced back in like 5 minutes. She bounced back. So she seems absolutely fine today, if maybe a little subdued. So I'm wondering if maybe her mouth hurts a bit. So she's a little bit, she spent the entire night nestled between Jane and I, in bed. And she's not a small dog, let's just say. And she's not a quiet dog. She's not an unhairy dog, and she's not an unsmelly dog. So let's just say maybe that was a contributing factor in the lack of sleep last night for me. My man knows I love David. All right, good, Lucretia. As long as you're not cheating on him with me, that's fine. My wife is in Manitoba and I'm in Newfoundland. I sent her a card and messaged her. Now back to being bored. Kameraden. Why so far away? And Newfoundland, you guys are in full lockdown now, aren't you? You guys have had that. You got one of the variants and have very wisely shut down. We, on the other hand, Toronto, it seems, have decided that this silly old wave 3 that we're about to get hit by with these new variants. What are we worried about? Let's open it all up. So as of Tuesday, I think we're all opened up again. Baz goes back to school on Tuesday. I'm a little concerned about it. I'm not even a little concerned. I'm a lot concerned about it. And then I get tested on Tuesday for another show that I'm working on. So I do testing on Tuesday and then probably wardrobe on Thursday for that. They usually like to test you 2 days in advance. So I have to see how that goes. Super lockdown. It's gonna be kind of hard to lock down with the military, isn't it? I mean, I guess you are a bubble unto yourselves. Is that right? I mean, so as long as everyone's behaving within the various different groups, you're okay, I suppose. But yeah, I mean, so just for those of you who don't know, Newfoundland and Labrador were basically being heralded as this like bastion of COVID supremacy, where they had kicked this virus's butt. But then, of course, as is the case with all viruses, they tend to mutate, right? They're not. What did we say? They're really bad at multiplying. So they're great at multiplying, which I love. So they suck at properly replicating themselves, and in doing so, they're very, very good at multiplying as a virus themselves because they become slightly different. And the ones that do better tend to start taking over. So it's interesting. As an elementary teacher just outside of Toronto, I feel you. So Glitterhoof, you're not happy about going back? You don't feel good about it? Happy Cheap Chocolates Eve, everyone. Not for me, old Get What Games. I got me some Lint chocolate, giant bars of it, 2 of them. I hid them in a special place because they're my Valentine's present, and so I'm not going to share them with anybody, not even my wife. So Cal Drogo is here in Quebec, and I'm staying in. Very good, very good. I think actors and athletes get tested a lot. Well, it's money, right, Joe? I mean, this is the depressing thing about it all is that if the government wanted to, they could probably be spending some of their money on testing everybody, but it doesn't seem to be in their interest right now. They've left it too long at this point. I don't think testing is going to help at all for the general population because not that much because if it's not contained, right? The reality is we sort of let this thing go here. So it just started spreading. I'm very concerned we're going to do the same thing with this new variant because the new variant is much more transmissible. Like one of it's apparently there's so as it latches onto the human cell, there was sort of a chance sometimes it would miss. It was basically how the original virus worked, and then this new one is just slightly like a couple of little proteins different, and it just sucks on. So it's like something like I can't remember, 60 or 70% more better at grabbing onto those human cells. So teaching in person is easier than online, but safety is definitely a concern. I work in Durham, so we've been open since last week. Yeah, NHS jabbing staff really well. My second jab is booked for the 8th of March. Oh, NHS are jabbing. Yeah. The NHS, they've already got my mom and they got my sister, one of my little sisters out there. There's almost nothing happening here. It's kind of extraordinary. I think I don't know where they're at with all of the long-term care places here, but I know that was a priority. And obviously the sort of healthcare workers are I think a lot of them have been done at this point, but we are. I mean, what are we like? We're something like third from the bottom of countries to get vaccinated. So I'm just not absolutely thrilled about going out right now. But good for you, Ronnie. Get those jabs. Tyler Perry keeps his cast and crew living isolated on studio grounds to maintain quarantine. But this is it, Christopher. It just comes down to money. You've got to have the money to do the COVID things right. So right now, the two shows I'm working for, one of them is Apple, and one of them is actually, God, what am I saying? I got one more. So I got three now. One of them is Apple. One of them is MGM and CBS, which is the Clarice one that people were watching the other day. And then this other one is a Canadian show, which I believe airs in England as well. But it's a Canadian show, doesn't have as much of a budget, so they are not able to do the kind of testing and PPE stuff that, well, they didn't when we were originally working earlier on in the pandemic, and we were lucky there were no issues there. But they've got to come back and do a couple of pick up some extra scenes. They actually wrote an extra scene for me and Greg Brick. Greg Brick, fantastic actor here. He's like not. This sounds like I'm diminishing him, but it's not. He's like Canada's Matthew McConaughey. I think he's equally as talented as that guy, certainly as good looking, and just this neat, wonderful sort of free spirit, and just a lovely, lovely guy to work with. So I got a couple of scenes with that. So Trent, I'm not paying for any testing because production is paying for the testing. So, but I will get tested. I'll get tested. I have to get tested 2 days before I do anything on any production. So if they want me to work on, for example, they wanted me to work on a Wednesday. They tested me the Friday before so that they would have at least an indication of what was happening by the Monday when I tested again, so that I was then tested for Wednesday when I shot. And I would have tested again then if I had to come back, but I only had the 1 day. One amazing scene with Devon from VICAP, who's just fantastic, just incredibly talented actress. Momoa not asked you to join C yet. Oh, well, we'll talk about that later, Ronnie. We'll talk about that later. There's newsy things to talk about, but he is up here now shooting C right now. I got tested. It was an unpleasant experience. So Harvester Commander, I'm guessing you probably have Dorte. Thank you very much. How did you even do that? What the heck? I literally didn't know you could do that. I guess, is that because I'm on the computer this time? But thank you, Dorte. That was very, very, very generous of you. I literally didn't know you could do that. Well, thank you. What is that? Is that euros? Are those euros? Or is it pounds? What has he got? Euros coming at me? What? That's real money, Dorte. Thank you. That's gonna cover some Lindt chocolate. Actually, no, it's not. It's gonna cover. This is all going to Tech Bandit stuff. I should say. I hadn't thought of it. I hadn't really realized that this was active now. I'll say that right now. This will go towards Tech Bandits. This is I count all of my online stuff as basically just funding for Tech Bandit stuff. Now, admittedly, that doesn't mean that it's not a lot of fun for me and I don't appreciate it. And you are not, in fact, improving the joy of my little lab-like existence. Because the reality is, Pi Eyes, Raspberry Pis and stuff. I was just looking at how you can use Raspberry Pi to do streaming now. So I thought I might look into that as well. So, oh my God, thank you very much. Total War 09, have another chocolate. Oh my God. I should never have mentioned the chocolate. It's going to be like a tidal wave of chocolate coming my way, which I really don't need because I'm doing exercise. The whole point of the you can't buy me chocolate. This is a burn and learn. It's supposed to be exercise. Thank you, Total War. That was very appreciative of you. What is a knock? What is an NOK? Out of curiosity. I am learning stuff. It's so true. Crazy Nut Denmark. I am always learning stuff. Anyways, what were you saying, says Harvester Commander? I don't remember. What was I saying? I got completely distracted. Good afternoon. Happy Valentine's Day. Thank you very much, Rebel Time Lady. Welcome back. It's a Norwegian krone. Oh, fantastic. Thank you very much. Total War is sending Norwegian krones. That's cool. Oh, don't you wish you could actually, I know this is silly, but I miss the bills. I miss the coins. Look, this is obviously wonderful, but you never deal with money anymore, right? And in fact, I don't think we're ever going to deal with money again after a pandemic like this, but it's, I miss the beauty of, excuse me while I drink some coffee and choke back the COVID or whatever it is. It's killing me. What was I talking about, Harvester Commander? What were we discussing before that? I was just saying that I love collecting old bills and stuff. So I used to, when I knew that old Canadian bills were about to go out of circulations, like the old 20s, the old 2s and things, the old dollar bills, I used to collect them. And I did the same in England when they went from the or whatever the original currency was, the imperial currency or whatever they call it, to the new stuff. I got all these threatening coins. So, oh my God, Thomas Kraft, thank you very much. What DKK? Oh my God, wow! I literally don't need. You need some of these too. Okay, thank you very much, Thomas. That's very kind of you.
Someone is at the front door.
Someone's at the front door. Who's that? I have no idea what they would be doing. Thank you very much, Thomas Kraft. That's very kind of you. So if you make a sequel to Cube in like 29 years, will you come to play in it? Oh my God, how cool would that be? You know, Samsung, they've just made a remake of Cube in Japan. There's a trailer for it out now. You should go check it out. Thank you, Hyperion. Wow, thank you. Here's money from Timmy's. Oi, Timmy's, eh? Oh man. So I went to Timmy's. I went to Timmy Ho's, and I got myself a couple of Timbits and a coffee. And so just wondering if you want to get like a bear claw or something later, eh? Hyperion, thank you very much. That's very, very kind of you. Is Timmy's even open now? Like, is that a thing? It is probably Amazon delivery. That's very true. That is the sad truth of this house, is that there's a lot of Amazon delivery going on. Nice 3D printer. Can you print me a gimbal for a monopole sphere vortex vectoring? Monopole, single pole, sphere vortex vector. I have no idea what that is, Red Star. That's the beautiful thing about 3D printers is that you know you can do so many things with them. For me, it's things like with the robots, you can just 3D print. Like I break parts on my robots all the time. I just 3D print. You just 3D print new parts for them because Easy Robot has the STL files. Although I gotta say the STL files need to be cleaned up. I should probably post. I cleaned up a bunch of their STL files because they were weird. I don't know what it was about how they were done, but I used this fantastic software. What is it? Mesh Mixer? Is that right? Maker Viking? Is it Mesh Mixer? I think it's called Mesh Mixer that you use to fix up the STL files and stuff. What a great piece of software to play with. And then of course you've got Tinkercad. I adore Fusion 360. I haven't even scratched the surface of Fusion 360, but Fusion 360, you can basically do whatever you want. It's basically industrial design for the rest of us. David, me and my wife are biohacking food in our stomach. And by the way, you mean biohacking, and by that you mean eating. Very good, very good. I've got the mushrooms going. I have asked permission. I know better to ask for forgiveness than permission, but in this case, I asked for permission to use Jane's hot pot. So Jane has a hot pot, which is like one of these fancy pressure cookers, and I've asked if it's okay for me to use it to sterilize some cardboard. So what you do is you sterilize corrugated cardboard and then you inoculate it with this mycelium, which are the little strands of the internal part of it's the part before it fruits, basically, of the mushrooms. So I'm going to inoculate this what will eventually become soggy but sterile corrugated cardboard. And the mycelium is just like, oh, this is delicious. It's like a tree milkshake, and it just goes and it dives in there and it starts growing. And so you roll it all up into a little mycelium burrito, and then you store that for a bit until it sort of really gets firmly rooted, so to speak. And then you can have it use it to inoculate things and get some more mushrooms. So that's the plan. I really am Rodney. Would Rodney do? I don't know. If Rodney would do. I would say Rodney do mushrooms. I don't know. Well, he did that Wraith enzyme, so maybe. I don't. I am purely doing the edible culinary type of mushrooms. I'm not playing with anything else. I'm very dull that way. I'm far too controlling for these things. Gotta go, David. So sad, but I hope you enjoy your day. Amaya, thank you so much for coming by. We appreciate it very, very much. And don't be sad to go. Go and enjoy your day. That's good. That means you've got things to do. Perfect. And by the way, Jeff Phillips says that's a compliment, by the way. I take it as a compliment. It's like when I call people nerds. I always just, people sort of look offended at me. I'm like, no, I'm a nerd. I'm like, I literally, that's like high praise indeed if I call you a nerd or a geek. Have you seen Matango? What's that? No, Invisible Dimensions. I have not. Everyone say goodbye to Amaya. Bye, Amaya. Have a good day. No, he was drugged against his consent with a Wraith enzyme. I wasn't drugged against my consent. I took it as a choice to get out, didn't I? Wasn't that the plan? Your stamets from Star Trek Discovery. Am I? All right, new here. Could you explain the eyeballs creeping around behind you? Of course, Tony Lung. So these are connected. So this is a Meccano. This is just sort of a standard human-sized Meccano robot, which one of my fantastic tech bandits, these are the kids I work with on science, technology, engineering, arts, and math inspiration stuff. Because my dream is, or my goal perhaps is, that I think that inspiration is the most important part of education. Because if you don't have, I feel like you can't teach anybody anything if they're not interested in learning it. So if I can get a couple of these kids to be interested in a couple of things, or even find their element, find their thing that they love doing, then I have sort of achieved one of the greatest gifts you could give on this planet. Because one of the things I get such satisfaction out of is people coming up to me and saying, like, Rodney McKay, that you're the reason I'm in university, or you're the reason I'm an astrophysicist, or you're the reason I'm firing myself off into space on rockets. It's incredibly, that is the greatest possible compliment you could give me when it comes to the acting, if that makes sense. And probably not deserving either, because someone else wrote the part and someone else made the show. But acting is that role. I get great glee out of the fact that people are sort of inspired by that character to go on and go into astrophysics or physics or chemistry or science, and go into the sciences, basically, or even the arts. I mean, when you see people, creating visual effects and stuff. Anyways, look, point being is that I find that's like the biggest motivator for me. It's the thing I realized was the most exciting part of being an actor on Stargate for me. So I thought, well, I want more of this. It's like I'm jonesing for more of that. So how do I do that? I thought, well, great. I started this kids club. Oh, old get what games. Thank you very much. £10. Oh my God. That's like $1,000 Canadian. Thank you very much. But the idea was, I would go to this local school. We'd bring, old computers in, we take them apart, old printers. They're just fun things to pull apart. And I found that as you pull things apart, you learn things. That's how I learned all about electronics and stuff. So wanted to do the same thing for the kids. Also basically wanted them to become astronauts rather than pretend to be astronauts on television type thing. Why not be brilliant instead of just pretending to be one on television like me? So anyway, so one of my tech bandits, who's unfortunately no longer does the classes with us or the sessions with us, but he was still thinking of us apparently, because when they were cleaning up, he said, well, I don't really get to this, and a couple of the arms aren't working. So give it to David, because he'll know what to do with it, because he's got the tech bandit. So I fixed him up. So he all works. And then I thought, well, the eyes are a little too nice. We need something a little creepier than that. So I added normally I have a battery pack that runs this, but today I've just got it plugged into the USB. So this is a little Raspberry Pi back here, and then there's a little header on here that I had to solder the whole thing, all these tiny little solder things. And when I say that, like I didn't want to do it, I loved every second of it. Just like soldering all these little things. Soldering just feels so cool. It's kind of like it's like welding for wimps. That's the way I feel about soldering. So this is just a little Raspberry Pi that runs a script. And then the script just controls these two little TFT monitors with a series of images on it that are animated sort of randomly to do things. So you can also, and what I should probably do and stop talking about it and actually get on with it, is you can add sensors to it. So you can add sensors that the sound of me speaking will bring the eyes towards me. Also light. If you lower the lighting, the pupils dilate. So there's lots of kind of neat things you can do with it. And again, this is all stuff. I don't worry so much about trying to teach the kids how to do anything, partially because they don't know how to do anything. But it's more about they see this and they go, I want a robot with freaking eyes that follow me around the room. How do I do that? And those inspirations I find make a huge difference. And also just for me, it sort of inspires me to sort of dig deeper and figure out how to make things work. I'm talking to Gimpy God tomorrow again. I'm hoping if he's available about some assistive tech stuff as well, because I find assistive tech is, as well as just being sort of a pet project thing for me. It's such a great way for the kids to see technology like this that can actually be used to improve lives, or that can be used to collaborate with people with disabilities and come up with solutions with them as opposed to for them, if that makes sense. We have a tendency to sort of engineer these things and go, there you go, person who doesn't move like I do. Here's my solution to your problem without knowing anything about it. The whole point is we need to be working with people on this stuff. It's a collaboration. It can't be a, you don't want to white knight it, if that makes sense. You don't want to come charging in with all the answers if you think you've got, because you've got the skills and the tech or whatever. So it's just, it's kind of a neat thing for the kids to learn. And also the more they interact with people and other kids with disabilities, the more sort of normal that is for them, right? I think part of the problem of people saying the wrong thing and doing the wrong thing and feeling the wrong thing about people or races or whatever that they're not familiar with it. Like if you grow up in a if you grow up in a family with a sibling who has disabilities, then that's something then it's normal to you because it's normal, right? Where if you grow up in families that don't have any of these kind of issues, then you don't know anything about it. So what I love about the technology that's available now, that powers little things like Raspberry Pis. This is a waste of a perfectly good computer, but it's a frivolous waste of stuff. But the reality is, to me, it's just that it's the dream. It's the spark. It just sparks out. You have the kids going, I like that. How would I put that on my Christmas tree? Or why doesn't my dog have an extra pair of eyes when he's running around at night? Or why can't I have an extra pair of eyes that can see at night? There's just so many things you can do with this stuff. So that's what I do. So that's why I say that's why I thank you for the donations and stuff, because what's great is I'll put that in the bank for Tech Bandits. It's great. I just have it just allows me to buy more things to play with, and I try to buy things that I think will appeal to the Tech Bandits. So there you go. All right, eyes in the back of my neck. Indeed, I put them on the Christmas tree. They look great, I gotta say. Little Rodney at the top of the Christmas tree, and then two eyes. Fantastic. What else we got? I lived with autism all my life and didn't know till I was 34. Oh, wow. Stratus. Well, there you go. So, but this is the thing. I feel like because that's normal, right? There's you can not even to define normal. The idea is if it's the way you live your life, that's the way you live your life. It's not, there's a weird sort of, I don't know what the term, like ableist, I guess is the term that they use. There's an ableist attitude where it's like, oh my God, let's look at people with mental health issues or with disabilities, and it just makes you feel better about your life. And it's like, oh my God, what? Like, and I felt exactly this way going in. I had this very sort of like engineer-like approach to this stuff where I was like, I've got to solve these problems for people. And, it's, there's no, the whole point of assistive technology is not about getting people up to speed, up to the same speed as us. Why not go further? I mean, why, we've got phones are like assistive devices for memory. Like I can't remember something, I Google it, and the same thing that other people do. I need to communicate with someone and my voice isn't loud enough to reach across the entire continent, so I use my phone. These are all assistive technologies. I take a photo to remember perfectly what, thank you, DIY Ghetto. Thank you for all you're doing and helping others in life. Dude, thank you very much, DIY. That's very kind of you. I thank you for your thanks, but the reality is I'm loving it. Like, I make no qualms about this. I'm having so much freaking fun. I feel like I found this perfect zone here where, I do the acting I want to do, not necessarily when I want to do it. That's up to the people who hire me, obviously, to choose when I work. But the reality is I work when I work on the projects I want to work, and when I'm not working on those, I have tech bandits, and I feel like I'm the luckiest man alive. Like, it's just been this like absolute epiphany I had during the pandemic, which continues. Like, I don't want to make it sound like it's over. I found that doing these online sessions with the kids I was in their domain. Like, I can talk to them in a way, or I shouldn't say I talk to them, they talk to me in a way that they wouldn't in person. I'm finding out things about their interactions online and such that I don't think I would know if I was just in a classroom setting with them. So I've discovered that there's a whole other element to this tech bandits thing, which has really got me excited about stuff. Like, I'm thinking now that we've got to incorporate once the world becomes a little bit less infectious, shall we say, and we could start getting some of the kids together again. It'll be fun to stream that, because then we've got the same kind of interactions with the internet. And my hope is that then by other kids seeing this, like, it's the internet from across the world, I think there could be some really neat sort of cross-pollination of ideas and stuff. So, and maybe even some friendships along the way. So yeah, kind of excited about that. My wife made me do it. Yes. Oh, your wife? Oh, really? Your wife? God, throw the guy $1, would you? Well, thank your wife for me. Thank you very much, you grumpy old man. Kids are awesome. I love your patience with them. I have no patience. Look, Grisha, it's not even that I have patience. I'm just a child myself. I always assumed that being a parent meant that you had to grow up. And the reality is, it just means you become a child again. At least that's what, if you ask my wife, that's probably what she would say. Tango is a Japanese monster movie, Attack of the Mushroom Man. Oh my God. Okay, well, we better go see that. Not go see that, but upstairs and see that. David, what age range is the Tech Bandits? Middle school, high school? Yeah, it's sort of middle school into high school. So basically, I think on an outer edge, it would probably be like 10 to 16. 16 is probably a bit too old. The 16-year-olds probably have better things to do than chat with me. But it's certainly open to that. It also just sort of depends on where their level of they're just really how sort of grown up and how into this stuff they are. And I'm willing to sort of just change it as we go. I mean, I really just, it's fluid. So we cover what the kids want to cover, and dads and granddads are just antique little boys. That's true. It's very true. Why is it hiding some things? Are they worried that, here you go. Did I show that? Did that work? My father-in-law used to say that they're just recycled teenagers. That's what a grown-up is. You never grow up. The toys just get bigger and more expensive. I know, it's so true. All of a sudden Baz is bugging me about a Tesla. And I was like, dude, you know how expensive a Tesla is? Like, it's crazy expensive. Like, I really want to do an electric vehicle. I think it'd be fantastic. I'd assumed I would do hybrid because I just wasn't sure about the infrastructure for electric vehicles and the range. But it sounds like the range is pretty good on those things now. But I just still can't get over it. There is such a premium on electric vehicles. Anyway, so that's the vehicle that Baz is gunning for right now. Whenever I use Uber, and I have to use Uber a bit, it's the irony of getting into an Uber and then going to get tested and then coming home in another Uber. Anyways, but the point being is I tend to take the eco Ubers. So it's a little bit more expensive. And I'm sure that my production will balk at it all. But I pay a little bit extra for the eco vehicles, partially just because they're like a test drive for me. And I got in one the other day and I was like, actually trying to get into it. It was the first problem. They had these fancy handles and I couldn't figure out how to get into it. It was a Tesla Y. And I was impressed with that. It had a big trunk space. So there's room for the dog in the back. There was room for me in the back. There was room I say me in the back because Baz gets motion sickness. So he always steals the best freaking seat. He always steals shotgun, right? So I sit in the back, usually with the dog, breathing in my face. Anyways, so I was admiring this Tesla to such an extent that when I got to the place to get tested, I said, you know what? If I change my location back to home again, can you just hang here? So he hung while I went and had like a 5-minute COVID test and then hopped back in again and we drove home just because I wanted to stay as long as I could in this Tesla Y, which was just amazing. So graphene would be a good way to go. They've got those new liquid lithium. Is that right? Liquid lithium batteries as well, which they last longer. They don't dry out. They're not, what is it? They don't, I guess the problem with some of the lithium batteries is that I guess there's some kind of the charge pulls things out of the battery or has them sort of polarizes them in some way. And over time they lose their ability to recharge and power stuff. And these new liquid ones apparently are much, much better than that. Or is it solid state? Is it the opposite way? Is it the opposite? Is it solid is it solid state instead of liquid? I can't remember now. They don't form dendrites. Okay. And it's a solid state, so the original ones are liquid. Of course, that makes more sense. The solid state don't form the dendrites because there's no actual movement. Right. Got it. Oh, wow. Yeah. Nuclear powered cars. Don't get in those accidents though. Yeah. Liquid is the old tech. Sorry, all. There you go. Don't listen to me. Like I said, I just play brilliant on television. So there you go. So L. Strauss is saying that liquid is the old tech. That makes much, much more sense. I was trying to get my head around that. Okay, so the liquid is allowing these dendrites to form, which of course lowers the power of these batteries and the life of these batteries. Whereas these solid states don't allow those tiny little connections to be made. So that's great. They will maybe name you as inspiration to their work. There you go. Perfect. Yes, I'd like a couple of blue plaques. That'd be fantastic. Whoa, status, like the cars in Fallout. Whoa, status. Well, so the Teslas, we're seeing a lot more Teslas here. They feel a little flashy to me. The reason why I like this Tesla Y was that I literally didn't know it was a Tesla until I was like sitting in it. Is Baz excited to get back to school in person? No, he loves his online stuff, mainly because he's watched every anime known to man during that time. He doesn't want to go back to school. He doesn't like school. And I don't entirely blame him. I think he likes it more than he thinks he does. And I think he likes the interaction with people more than he thinks he does. But he doesn't like school. I didn't like school. I was terrible. I mean, this is one of the reasons for Tech Bandits originally was because I was worried that the kid was like, I see these kids going in with these big eyes and they're all like, oh my God, everything's so cool and I want to learn everything. And then within like a couple of years, they're like, get me out of here. It's boring. And it's like, how can it be boring to learn stuff? And I realized there's this disconnect between this stuff and the science and technology and engineering and arts and math that they're learning or not learning at school. I mean, arts, why isn't arts as big a push? Why isn't it just as important to learn how to draw as it is to learn how to write? You know what I mean? Like one of the best ways of communicating an idea is to be able to draw it for someone. I mean, I don't know. It just seems completely freaking random right now. Even more so obviously during a pandemic, but the reality is, like, we have everything you need to learn online. I defy you to find something you can't learn online at this point. I mean, other than obviously some physical stuff, I suppose some of the exercise stuff is more difficult. Although Jane and I do like our yoga lesson with Aditi at whatever, I think it's her name's Aditi or DT on Jane's got this Peloton yoga thing. I wouldn't let her buy the bike. Sorry, I'm a cheap bastard, but I was like, I'm not paying that much for a stupid riding bike. I can't deal with it. But we do sign up for the service, and we yoga every so often. I just haven't really felt like the jumping around stuff, the 7-minute workout. I found my knees and my elbows, and I'm feeling very repetitive stress. If that makes sense. I feel very old, I think is what it is. So I've been doing a lot of yoga and low impact stuff of late. And I'll tell you, I think that hurts more. I mean, it hurts more. I feel it in the muscles more than I feel it in the joints. Although even just walking the dog at night, I'm like, as I say, walking across the bridge the other night with the wind howling and the snow snowing and the ice slippy and all that kind of stuff. So, all right, drink water. I should totally drink water. All right. Daughter's finishing up her biology degree online. I'm very proud. Very good. Well done, Jeff Phillips. I listened to one of those fabulous series of lectures on biology that is the Great Courses. It's called The Great Courses. And one of them is on biology, and it's just like 71 lectures. And I plowed through these things. I mean, I had to go back and listen to some of them 3-4 times to remember things. And I still haven't a clue what I'm talking about, but what a wonderful experience just to go through. And at the end of it, to go like, oh my God, I may not remember everything, but I've got a slight understanding of the world that we live in, and that I just never would have had otherwise. And again, this is it. So this stuff, the fun stuff, I feel, is the stuff that we do in our spare time and is seen as a hobby. And the reality is that's the kind of stuff we should be doing in school. That's the kind of stuff that should be getting people excited about it. Like, I mean, my son the other day was like lamenting his hatred for science. And I was like, and then, that hurts. Like for me, that's like, oh God, my son. So he hates science. And I'm like, well, what are you doing? He's doing the cell. I'm like, oh my God, the cell. That's like so cool. What are you doing? And he's like, well, I got a picture and I got to memorize all the parts. I was like, oh my God, like 30 something years ago, that's how I was learning it. And I hated it. It was the most boring thing in the world. A freaking picture of a freaking paramecium or whatever. And you got to remember all the parts. Who gives a shit? And yet when now I'm online doing 71 lectures on biology and loving it. Why? Because I'm not in school. I always learned more outside of school than I did in school. And I feel like there's got to be a way of finding this. I'm not saying homeschool. I'm just saying that they always say like, oh, it comes down to the teachers. And I understand that. I mean, teachers are working hard. Teachers are doing what they can, but they're restricted by curriculum. They're restricted by budgets. They're restricted by, whatever the unions and the school systems are in place. And the idea that all of our kids' future is dependent on the lottery of who you happen to get in that subject teaching you that year. Oh, I hope I get a good math teacher. Otherwise, I'm screwed for math for the rest of my freaking life. How much that's fucking ridiculous that we should be dependent on that. Like we've got the best lectures, the best teachers putting out videos all the time. Why are we dependent on the hopes that someone in this neighborhood or someone locally or someone that's whatever, been through the process of the unionized teachers or whatever it is to get to a school? You're really hoping that they're inspired this year and that they're going to make your kids' math project, your love of math happen. And I'm not saying it doesn't happen, but the fact that we are literally spinning, rolling the dice every freaking year with our kids, I think is shocking. It's absolutely freaking shocking. We should, find the best way to teach something and teach it to people that way. And I'm saying that is not going to be one way for anybody. That's not going to be the same for everybody. You got 35 kids in a class and you're trying to teach them something the same way. I mean, I understand that they try to address specific issues as they come up, but they're issues as they come up. They're reacting to things instead of being able to, by the time you're reacting to a kid misbehaving in class because they're bored out of their freaking mind, it's too late. They hate science already, or they hate math, or they think, and I know this from my own experience. I remember vividly, I really hated school. I hated it. it never occurred to me that what I was doing at home, this stuff at home, when I got home, that I felt guilty doing because I wasn't doing my homework. I was building things and making things and drawing things and watching movies and learning about that whole process. I felt guilty about that. And I failed in school. I failed in school doing more basic science, more like even like not nearly as complex science as the stuff that I was doing at home with my Radio Shack electronics kits. I mean, that's ridiculous that no one equated those, that I never equated those things in my mind. You know, that somehow that was wrong, or that taking things apart and not being able to put them together was a failure. It was a failure to put them back together again, but it wasn't a failure because, my God, I learned a lot. I learned about capacitors, and I learned how much they hurt if they come out of television and they haven't been discharged properly. You know, I've learned about capacitors. I learned about transistors. I learned about what's powering these things. LEDs, programming, integrated circuits at the time. I mean, a lot of this stuff was only just becoming affordable. Computers. I mean, computers again. I went to a computer class in school and I was so freaking bored, even though I was going home and writing Dungeons and Dragons programs on my Commodore 64. Like, what? But that was silly waste of time stuff. That's not really programming. You know, real programming uses freaking punch cards. We literally had to code on punch card. They thought that was a skill that I was going to need to have, even though it was a freaking map, whatever the heck it was, sitting on the window ledge, telling the time and playing Civilization or whatever the hell it was. What was that one called? Was it Civilization? What was that old amazing planning? There's a little planning game. And this may be a little later on. Anyways, I think it was Civilization. All right. Okay. So, sorry, David, the goals of schools is to find out 1 out of 1 million to teach. And that's the problem. That's the problem to me. I mean, we should like everyone should be inspired by school. Learning should be the most important thing going forward for kids in my mind. I don't understand it. You know, our entire future is dependent on an intelligent, informed, and inspired population. And I am seeing kids who are good in the existing school system. I am talking to kids in Tech Bandits who hate school. They're the ones who get the good grades. They're the ones who I was always like, oh my God, there's somebody who's good at school, you know, and they hate it. Like, what the hell? Anyways, all right. Unfortunately, politicians choose. That's it. Politicians choose. That's a big part of the problem. Is the curriculum is being designed by people who aren't teachers or don't have that background. All right, Megan. Sorry. Yes. Hello. I'm already going on. So Camradin's banking on benevolent aliens. Well, we can wait for those if you want to. Soma, good afternoon to you. Not going to lie. I wish McKay had a rant like this. Would have shown his frustration with others. Yeah, no kidding, Foxgirl. Well, if you like that, tune in again because all I do is rant. All of my kids are now in high school and makes me feel old. Yeah, my son's a freaking teenager. It does make you feel a little old. All right, I've been babbling on for almost an hour. I must go and see the one and only true love of my life, the lovely Jane Lohman, and see what she needs from me. We're doing some steaks and potatoes for tonight for dinner. I don't know what we'll do for a movie. We've got to do like a nice movie, something that we'll enjoy. I really want to do Love and Monsters. I've heard is kind of fun, so I think I might go for that. But yes, it's definitely later today. That's for sure. DNY, thank you very much. And look, everyone, thank you very much for somehow, Dorte, I don't know how you did this, but for figuring out how to actually send money on YouTube. Who knew? I've activated something that allows that, but that was very, very, very kind of you. Thank you, everybody. I appreciate it. Sputnik on Netflix is fun. It's a bit horror-y. Really? Ooh, okay. I'll have a look at that. I like horror. I love horror. I'm a big fan of that. And Baz loves it too. All right, everybody. Host. Host is good. I like that. Love these rants. Your energy is fun and adorable. Thank you, Foxgirl. I like to be fun and adorable. That's my goal in life. It's the super chat. That's what it is. I activated super chat. I see. Okay, so that's what allows you to do. Okay, well, that's good to know. Interesting. Money logo at the bottom of my chat. Is there a money logo? Oh, yeah, look at that. Huh. There you go. All right. Well, look, thank you very much. Freaky. Is Freaky good? No, watch The Taking of Deborah. Oh, no. Oh, I thought you meant there's a movie called Freaky, which is like a ripoff of Freaky Friday, but it's done with like serial killers or something. It's not kind of fun. Yes, it is. Super chats is what I've done. Thank you, Dan Wald. Yeah, I was in there poking around. I got this new thing called Tube Buddy, which is recommended to me. Oh, thank you very DNW. Thank you very much. Tenet was great. Did you like Tenet? I didn't. Okay, we'll have to talk about that next time because I did not like Tenet. I'm sorry. Not a fan. I was not a fan of that. I just feel like fighting in reverse looked silly. I just didn't work. I love the idea of it, but it didn't, I'm telling you, you want to watch a great sci-fi movie right now, DNW, go and see Prospect. Go see Prospect. That is that's a solid science fiction story with great character, great, you really don't know where it's going to go. It was fantastic. I loved it. Tense. Look, I enjoyed Tenet. Like I'm glad I saw it, but is it a good movie? I didn't think so. It was like, yeah, and like I say, I mean, there's some gorgeous sequences, but the backwards look silly. It just looks silly. There's nothing you can do about it. It's like the Bionic Man thing. Like the reason why they had to slow it down. You like that? Did you watch that, DNW? Did you see Prospect? And thank you again. You don't have to pay me $5 to tell me you saw the movie. Thank you. But the like the Bionic Man, originally they were like they tried to sort of speed it up and they thought it looked silly, so they would always go into slow motion. And oh my God, that worked so well. And then when you watch Tenet and they're like crazy backwards, it just looks silly. It just looked stupid to me. Anyways, whatever. I'm sure they're way smarter than I am. I also went in and watched movies. I've gone in and watched like YouTube videos trying to explain to me what Tenet was truly trying to do. And I was unimpressed with that too. So there you go. I'm sorry. I'm just not I loved his Batman stuff. I loved Memento. I really liked, was it Dieppe? Did he do Dieppe? I enjoyed Dieppe as well. I think he's a great filmmaker. I just think it just seemed out of touch. It seemed out of touch. And also all that BS about having to go to the theater and see it on film. And I shot it in 70 millimeter Dobley. And, it's Dobley's the way to go. And, it's this kind of snobbiness about film. I was like, oh, shut up. Everyone's going to be watching it on streaming anyways. So just, there was just heart-shaped pizza. Ooh, I like that. Yes, Tom Rama. You're right. I got to get out of here. Dunkirk. That was it. I love Dunkirk. I thought that was fantastic. 1914 too was really good. 1914, 1917, whichever one it was. One of those years. Neither good years for the world, but good movies nonetheless. What else do I have to tell you? Any other ones? Yeah, and then White Tiger. Yes, see White Tiger. Man, it's a long haul, so you got a long movie to watch. But wow, what an amazing film. All right, everybody. Be kind, be safe, be brilliant. And until we geek again, I will say a cheerio and huzzah. And when am I seeing you again? Well, maybe tomorrow. Actually, not maybe anything. Let's see. We'll see you tomorrow. I'll do exercise tomorrow, and then I've also got to do a Twitch stream tomorrow because I really owe the Twitch folks a good stream and a good chat. So maybe I'll do like a short burn alert tomorrow, and we'll do a real Twitch stream later. So thank you all very much. And for the super chats, as we've discovered, that's what they are. I appreciate that very much as well. So and thank you yesterday for hanging out on Tech Talk. If anyone saw that with Barnacles and Auxiliary, that was like so much freaking fun. And go watch Clarice. And go to thetechbandits.com if you want to hear more about what I'm doing with the Tech Bandit stuff. Thetechbandits.com. And please sign up for the mailing list because I would very much appreciate that. And then you get to hear this kind of chatter, in your mailbox as well. All right. Have fun. Happy Valentine's to everybody. If you got them, hold them close. If not, you're probably better off on your own. It's good to get these things sorted out first and then, get yourself all sorted. And then when you're not looking for someone, the best people in the world show up. That's what happened with me with Jane. So anyways, lots of love. Cheers. I will end the stream now. Huzzah!